one thing about women from the South, especially Louisiana, you guys are notorious for knowing how to cook. And I think the older the cook, the better the meal in most cases. So you got this book, Things My Grandma Told Me, Things My Grandma Showed Me, which has 40 recipes straight from the boot.
That's right.
So from your grandmother's cookbook to your ears to our hands, what's all in here?
So I've been in the kitchen with my grandmother since '75, and most people who know me from hip hop, they know that I always did cook. That was my thing. Mm-hmm. You know, if a journalist was coming over from one of the magazines, I would cook so they could concentrate on the food and not ask me a lot of questions.
It's a little diversion tactic.
Always.
Get them the itis and then the questions slow down.
Right. But the book is more than that. This book, it's a memoir of my life from 75 to 2001 when my grandmother died. My grandmother said a lot of profound things, and she was the real OG. I threw that bullet and bowed it because my grandmother had a sack of bullets on her shelf, and she used to loan people money. So when she would loan you her money, then she would grab the sack and she would tell you, catch this. Well, if you don't bring my money back, we're going to see if you catch the next one. Everybody knew she had 2 pistols in her pocketbook. She had a pool ball in a sock in her pocketbook. She had a rock wrapped in furl paper, or as y'all say, foil. She had all of that stuff going on. So it was a lot about her that inspired me as an artist and as a cook. She said a lot of profound things. We wanted to be pretty and fine and talking about the boys liking us. And she was like, well, you know, you're coochie, but she didn't say coochie. She said the word with a P, because in that book, you're going to see she don't cut no corners. Your coochie don't make him stay. It makes him skeet. The weight of his heart is not through your drawers. And when we wanted to be friends with people growing up, and you know how friends will say, I don't want to play with you. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like they don't want to play with us, and I want them to play with us. And you kissing their aunt, if you kiss enough ass, your face will eventually smell like poo. But you know, she said the word with the S.
Right.
And when I was dealing with this guy, he would always come to see me, but he had a girlfriend.
Okay.
And so my grandmother, I was like, well, he's always coming to see me. He's hanging out with me, you know. And my grandmother said, a man can bring his dick several places while keeping his heart in only one. So you got to make sure, because there's a big difference between good coochie and easy ass. Don't get caught on the easy side of his mind. And so with that being said, all of those quotes tell stories in this book.
We was
cooking
a philosopher.
Lot. Like, man, you don't even understand. You know, she said, take their word till they break their word. She would always tell me things and tell my friends things. And they was like, Mia, you have to tell people about Mama. Mama was such a gangster and such a cook and such a humanitarian. She cooked 10 pounds of red beans every day just to feed the hood. We had our own dinner that she cooked, but she cooked beans so that people who was working, maybe if you got off at 7, 8 o'clock, but you had little children. My grandmother felt children should eat early. You not cooking no dinner at 9 o'clock for kids. So her door was never locked, and everybody could come in, and she fed the block. So she instilled so much in me. I feel like she made me the rapper that I was. And I feel now, even though kissing a half a century, I am becoming the woman that she wanted me to be, because I messed up a lot. And my mistakes are in the book. And I'm hoping to inspire people to cook and converse, because that's what she did with us through food. We chopping up seasoning. Oh, you like a little boy? You fussing with little girls? She would find out different things about us, and we stayed connected and bonded. We could go to her with anything. So I'm hoping that when people read the book, not only will they cook my food, but that it'll bridge some gaps, because I think younger people and older people right now, it's a big old gap.
It's a huge disconnect.
Yeah, and we have to get back to connecting. Mama had an open mind. She was before her time. You gay, straight, dope fiend, prostitute, whatever you was, you could come to mama and lay your troubles down. So, I wrote this book, and I'm hoping that it inspires people to cook and people to talk.
I love the concept, and you're right, man. I think more people should like cook with their elders, because that's if nothing else, it's a bonding moment, and there's a lot of recipes that get lost because people die suddenly
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
Like, you think these people gonna be here forever? Boom, somebody drop dead. All of a sudden, you don't know how to make their turkey wings.
Let me tell you, I lost 14 family members in 18 months, including my mother, my father, my grandmother. Um, The last chapter in the book is about me making gumbo, because when my mom had already died. My mom and my grandmother would always make the gumbo. So my grandmother was in bed and she was sick, and she was like, well, she called me Mitty. Mitty, you got to make the gumbo this year. I was so scared. I'm like, no, can we just eat it from Auntie Stella? Because I can't do it. So she was like, I would not die without you making gumbo, and I'm ready to go. She was like, but you have to make your own gumbo, and you're going to walk from my bed to the kitchen, and I'm going to tell you step by step, and you're going to make this gumbo. So it's very true. Recipes get lost, traditions get lost, and it's very important, especially for our people, to hold on to the tradition and the culture of family. I learned how to make gumbo. I was 31 years old. And I was scared to death. And now I done won 5 gumbo competitions.
Say
and
word.
I see whoever, whenever.
Yo, but that's the what though? You know how people get quizzed and tested in school? You gotta be able to pass those life exams.
Yes.
And you be able to crush that gumbo the same way your grandma and the people that preceded her made that gumbo. You passed one of life's biggest exams.
That was my rite of passage.
See?
It really was, But I think we need to learn how, like, it's easy to make a gravy from scratch. Cooking is easier than people think, and it's healthier.
Right.
A lot of times we run and we grab a box of this and a pack of that, and it's full of so much stuff. And then, we're wondering why our blood pressure is so high. And, I have family members, they live to 106. I have an uncle right now, 103. I had another uncle, he was murdered in New Orleans, but he was 99 years old. He was still riding a bike, still cooking, still fishing. So I want us to connect again. We have to find the culture, and the kitchen is the heartbeat of the home. So, I want people to get back in the kitchen, not to make you Molly the duty maker or any of that, but just it's a survival skill. If you can't cook, you can't eat. If you're depending on everybody to feed you and you can't feed yourself, you might be in trouble, especially when we go off the grid, because you never know.
You never know.